It's really a fear of success. Because really, subconsciously, you don't want that thing that you tell yourself you want. And how can you figure this out? Well, you look at your actions. Because really, the conscious mind is a small proportion of, let's say, your thoughts on a day to day basis. If we just counted all your thoughts up, the majority of those are subconscious. The majority of the actions you do on a day to day, your proclivities, your emotions around certain activities, the things you do, it's largely determined by your subconscious mind. And so, therefore, the way to determine what your subconscious wants, what your subconscious believes, um, what your subconscious has been working towards, is to look at your actions. It's to look at what you're actually doing in the present moment, right here, right now. And even, over the whole day, if you were to look over your whole day. Um, and it's really looking at, what did I actually do? And if there was an outsider coming in, if I just wrote down everything I did on a day, and an outsider came in completely objectively, without bias, just looked at this sheet of paper, um, where would they work out that I am looking to go? Like, where would they think I am headed? Um, and it might be very different than the story you're consciously telling yourself. And I say story, but really I mean just what you think that you want. What you think that you want and what subconsciously you want can be two very different things. Um, and really, through looking at, I mean, you don't even need to do like write it out. I would recommend it if you want to get the most out of this video, is to write that out. But you can just, so long as you don't skip to another video right after this video, what you can do is you can sit for a couple minutes, think about what's everything I did in the last 24 hours, and then work out where you're actually heading. Because actually, um, pretty much you'll know yourself by your fruits, so to speak. In that you can then reverse engineer. And more than this, and this might be like a lot that I'm sort of giving to you right now, but there's something that's super, super obvious that I think quite a lot of people seem to not actually accept, which is that your actions determine your results. It's cause and effect. The entire universe operates on that basis. There's a mover, and then that results in following actions, right? And so us asserting our will on the world, um, basically that then leads to our results, right? And you've got far, far, far more control over it than some people say that you do. So really, you can look at your situation, and then from there, you can work out what your actions have been over a longer period of time. And from there, you can work out deep down on a long term basis, what are you actually wanting? Um, because the perhaps annoying truth is that you're exactly where you want to be. And you might be angry at me saying that, but really, if you didn't want to be here, you would have taken different actions to be somewhere else. You're not completely blind to where you're headed, right? If you were on if you were on a boat and you look down at the river, and then you looked over to where the river's going, and it's going off a waterfall, and then you keep on doing what you were doing, playing the banjo or whatever, or painting, then like that's a decision. That's a decision to then go down the waterfall. And really, I think there's different levels of awareness to yourself making this decision. Some of it can be very subconscious, and some of it can be a conscious thing. But I would think of that as in terms of a sliding scale, in that a lot of people kind of know that something's up with their lives and that they could be doing something different, very different, and they could be living much better. And but it's kind of below their conscious awareness. Like the percentage there of conscious involvement in that decision is quite low. It's very much in the subconscious mind. But with the same exercise that I went over about 3 minutes ago, if they look at their life, if you look at their life, and like their actions, the inputs that are leading to their outputs in their life, right, being at the cause instead of the effect, then you'll see exactly what they're wanting. And what they're wanting is exactly where they are. And why do they want that? They want it for very personal reasons. But a big driving force is that it's known. They know it. It's not vastly different than where they've been before. And maybe it's known on a deeper level, and it looks like a very different situation than where they were previously. But deep down, there's a certain similarity there that their internal world is pleased about. So, really, you don't have a fear of failure. You have a fear of success, because success is changing your present circumstances. And your present circumstances are exactly what you wanted. And that's why you're here. And the majority of you agrees with what I've said. And the minority is very angry or very confused or very whatever at what I've just said. Because it thinks, no, actually, I want all these other things. I want these, I've been working really hard to like change my situation. You'll know what you want by the actions you're taking. And the actions you're taking, if they're majority in staying where you are, and maybe where you are is like a slow improvement over time, right? It doesn't need to be absolutely stagnant, but the majority of your actions are related to that and not in whatever your dream result is, then it means that the majority of yourself, the driving force behind your actions, doesn't want that thing as much as it wants exactly where you are. So really, what can we do with this? Well, what I did was I was like, well, this minority, we'll call it, this whatever percentage, something slightly under 50%, really, really does not want to be staying where I am. And I did something where I visualized, even 50 years with gray hair, with wrinkles, I was in exactly the same position I was in right now. And it fucking disgusted me. It disgusted me so much that I changed right there. I could no longer stand it. And I combined this with a certain mantra, almost a certain objective, a certain destination, a certain idea that I was focused on. And that was my number one thing right now is how do I want it more? Because if I wanted it enough, I'd already fucking have it. So the fact that I don't means I don't actually want it that much. So how do I want it more? And really, I found that I really, really, really wanted to want it. I really wanted to be driven, to be going after something. I really wanted to be that guy. And really that was the lower barrier of entry. That was the small step before the big step that I needed. Because really with that was my first objective. And I could very quickly make progress on that objective and day by day, moment by moment, want it more. And eventually, instead of wanting to want it, I wanted it. And then I got it.